Welcome to Toffee TV. It is the Everton Club Call. It's your chance to get in touch with us on, it's, I was going to say phone, but it's, any electronical piece of equipment. If you are a Toffee TV Premier member, the link is at the top. Just click on it, grab yourself a pair of headphones,
and off you go.
Tell us what you want to, have a chat with us about whatever you want to talk about, whether it be the 25-man squad, whether it be Everton's new goalkeeper, whether it be the game on Sunday, the game's being called off on Sunday, whatever you want to talk about. Just
Everton's game hasn't been called off.
No, the game that got called off on Sunday.
Last Sunday.
The things that we're going to have to sit through on Sunday at the match. Whatever you want to talk about.
Michael Oliver is the referee on Sunday. Mike Dean is the VAR. Doesn't matter.
Anything, if you want to talk about the new VAR system being used in the Champions League and how the other VAR is nonsense, and we all saw it in the Juventus game.
Yeah.
Again, get in touch with us. If you want to have a chat, and this is what we spoke about today on the Everton Daily Extra exclusive on Toffee TV Premier, we had a chat about Ted Bowley. I know his name's Todd, but we call him Ted here. And him suggesting there should be a All-Star game, if you want to have a chat about that. Or he also mentioned very briefly, he said he wanted a 4-team competition for relegation.
Which is bizarre.
How
does that happen where 3 teams go down?
I don't know what he was quite proposing. He skipped over it quite quickly. But I'm interested to know more of his wacky ideas. But do you think they're wacky? Or do you think we can take some of these things? We had a little chat earlier about, okay, maybe not an All-Star game, but could one player from every Premier League team go to, say, St George's Park and have like a skill day in the summer before the season and have all the FIFA stuff, hitting targets or free kicks or whatever? Could that happen? Could we do something like that? Boost, put it all out on the socials and all that. Boost the game around the world by showing this little All-Star competition. Let us know. Let us know. Get it.
Why wouldn't you?
Why? I don't know. I don't know why you wouldn't. Ned, did you say we've got a caller?
Yeah, he just disconnected.
Once
the sound check was great, and I was about to get him on. He disconnected.
I'm sure he'll come back.
Once Ned touches you,
exactly. You're gone. You're out today.
Nothing will ever be the same again.
No. Reece Colburn asked a very interesting question. A team of Damari Grays or a team of Alex Iwobi's?
I think it'd be Alex Iwobi's.
You wouldn't have said that 12 months ago, would you?
Well, I think I might have.
No, I can remember.
I don't. See, the problem would be is, what would the other 10 Damari Grays do when the other Damari Gray had the ball?
Keeps the ball.
What would they do?
They all need the ball.
They'd all be like, what do we do now?
It's an interesting thought.
Factual point.
It's an interesting thought. It really is. Danny Hayes says, did you see Big Dunk visit the young man who died? Cancer this week. Great gesture from Dunk. Lots of Liam's family at this very difficult time. Saw some stuff on social media, yeah. So sad. Not surprised for the way Dunk is, but what an awful story.
I think Anthony Gordon went as well, didn't he?
Did he?
Yeah, I think so.
What a terrible, horrible thing, horrible disease and horrible story. Matt Torres, what a name, says, do you think Gordon and Cody will be in the England squad? I hope not.
I think Cody will. I don't think.
Do you?
I think. Yeah. I don't think Gordon. Who would you?
I'm only from. I haven't thought. Only from a selfish point of view.
No. But who would you think will be in the England squad for like outer centre backs?
Can't we just give them Michael Keane? He'll have a go.
Maguire's not playing,
but he'll still
be in it.
Yeah.
Mings up and down.
Do you like him?
John Stones.
Stones
obviously.
Will be in it. Defo. Joe Gomez will definitely be in it because playing again for Liverpool. 4. Yeah, Cody probably will. Yeah. Why then? Should be in it. Is Tomori.
Yeah.
Should be in it more.
Because he plays in.
Because he's in Italy. Him and Tammy Abraham should be in it, really.
But do you think this is? Think he was big chance to be in the England squad? Tony's.
Yeah, 100%. If he doesn't get in this one, he's never getting in.
I think
he's flying at the moment.
He's peaked just at the right time.
We've got no strikers there. We've got Harry Kane, and although Rashford's done all right, but he plays more off the left. Danny Ings, no. Dom's injured.
I was going to say, though, do you think there's an outside chance that Dom might be in it if he's available this weekend? Because it'll be like a 26-man squad, say 27. Do you think there's because I just, what I mean by that is I could see him picking him for the squad just to have a look at him. Because if he's not in the squad, if he's not in this squad, then he's not likely to go to the World Cup. Nor should
really? If he isn't in this?
I don't think
I
so.
think if he gets in...
But that's why I think they'll pick him if he's fit, to have a little look at him and just see where he is in terms of his fitness. Otherwise, the next time he's picked will be for the World Cup.
But I think he's got more chance of being in that for the simple reason that... Because by then, if he's back and then Everton's playing in Everton's first team, scoring goals, he'll go.
But I think...
Dom gets 3 goals, now in the World Cup, he's in the World Cup.
By picking him before... because he is fit, it gives Southgate a chance to run the rule over him and then welcome him back into the fold.
Maybe.
Okay, we've got Pat.
We've got Pat.
Pat.
Okay.
Hello, Pat.
Hey, how's everyone going?
You okay?
Hello, Pat. How are you, man?
I'm doing all right.
Good.
Yeah. Todd Bully. Look, the reason why All-Star games work in the U.S. is also, like, we don't have international competitions for a vast majority of our sports. We have huge off-seasons, and, like, it can work because no one, even in the U.S., takes them seriously. I'm sure you would have unlimited subs, and, no one would try very hard, but it would just be kind of just, people doing, keepy uppies and trying to do dribble moves, and the goalkeeper would just kind of flail their arm at it. But I don't think it's needed. It doesn't add anything to the season, really. I don't know. You can't just transplant because something works in a closed franchise system that has playoffs and has humongous off seasons directly into an English system that already is hugely congested in terms of fixtures.
Is there anything you would take from the All-Star games that you've seen in America and in various different guises? Is there anything you would take from them and go, well, we could do something with this? We could have an All-Star Challenge Day or something that happened before the season, or even we were talking about before, like, it's not necessarily but you've got when they had the American style shootout. Would you ever like to see anything like that introduced into, not just English football, but the world game?
So the MLS does do. The only reason I ever watch the MLS All-Star Game is honestly for the skills competition, because that's actually really fun. Like seeing them try to do one-touch volleys into different goals, or trying to hit a moving target, or hit top bin, hit left, hit middle. Those are always fun too, and it's not so much stress. It's probably less injury risk than a normal training session.
Yeah.
So something like that would be fun, even if they did it before the Community Shield. You just have. And I guess the nice thing for the players is it's an honor more to be selected for that team than it is they care about the game.
Yeah,
that's more, I guess, would be the cool thing. Seeing your favorite players out there doing cool tricks and whatever, for Liverpool fans, it'd be great. You'd see Trent; he wouldn't have to play defense at all. He could just do skills all the time.
No, because this is what we were talking about earlier, saying there could be something where one team has a player sent down to either whether it's St George's Park, which is obviously where England headquarters are, or something like that, and it could be pre-recorded, and then it could all go out on YouTube, or it could go out on the social media or something, just to, I know it doesn't really need pushing, but like you've just said there, it's fun, isn't it? It would add just some nice little layer of competition before the season starts, almost like a season opener, something to get the season going at the beginning, having put it on TV for an hour or something, or just ahead of the season. Every player from every team was selected to go down and take part in this competition, this skills competition or something. I think that would be something that would sell and go around the world, and would work with the FIFA generation who see all this stuff played in front of them, and all YouTube, the way people will sit and watch the F2 and all these people who are doing all these skills videos and things like that. I think that'd be a really interesting thing for bringing the game sort of up to the next generation that they're hoping is going to take over from the current generation who are watching games of football. I think that would be just add something cool to it. I don't think an all-star game would work just simply because of logistics and all the rest of it, but I do think something like that could be a cool little add-on. And also, we were talking before, you know, imagine like the Carabao Cup had, instead of going to penalties, it went to an American style shootout, and then people would go, oh, that's cool, I want to see it go to a shootout rather than it be on penalties, and that would give that a little bit something different, so it's not the same all the time.
Yeah, I have a mixed thing because hockey has shootouts, right? They used to, I suppose. Now they just go into overtime. Or they do eventually go to a shootout, I think, but it usually ends. But it's a little bit different in hockey because you can't stop nearly as quickly on a rink that you can in real life and whatnot. It can work, but I think that as a test, just to see if there's appetite for it, do it in the pregame to the Community Shield.
Yeah.
Have everyone, like you said, go down to the England training ground. Yeah. And do a pre-recorded thing. You know, the best player from every team does this, and they do it in a pre-game thing. There's a show that I think like Jimmy Bullard and a couple other people do that.
Like
people
Soccer
love that show.
Yeah.
Do something like that, and just to see if there's an appetite for it. I've been just to quickly on Everton. Cool. I've been watching some of Fellaini's old clips, and I really do see what you two have been talking about with Onana being kind of like that. Obviously, I think Onana's a lot more raw of a player because, you know, Fellaini had that unbelievable touch and great ability to control the ball, while Onana's touch can be a little bit loose right now, which is understandable. He's 21, 22 years old, or 21 years old. I'm wondering if you think what parts of Fellaini's game and Onana's game do you guys see as being compatible, besides them just being like big, physically imposing dudes in the midfield?
Go on, Baz.
What do we think? Just ask it again, Pat.
What besides their physical stature? Where do you see the comparisons between Fellaini and Onana?
Well,
because
I actually,
is that a lazy comparison?
I think it is a lazy comparison. They're both obviously.
And we started that, by the way, Pat. Don't take that.
No. They are Belgian midfield players. There's a nice little comparison. They're both big. There's another one. But I think Marouane Fellaini, you know, was a talented player. Obviously, the chest control was out of this world. He was good in a forward position. I always thought with Fellaini, he was brilliant in the six until Everton decided to move him further up. And then when he went back and played back in midfield with more defensive duties, he didn't want to do it anymore because he'd had that, you know, that opportunity to play without that responsibility and enjoyed it. I think Onana is different because I think Onana can play in any of the three positions. I think he can play as a defensive midfield player. I think he can play as a box-to-box midfield player. I think he could probably play as a midfield player arriving late in the penalty area as well. So it is. They are different players, but physically, obviously, when you've got someone who's 6'5" in the middle of midfield, they are imposing, and I guess that's why people will look and go, "Oh, Belgian, over 6'4", 6'5". Fellaini was like that for Everton. I don't really see Onana ending up playing with his back to goal for Everton. Put it that way. I think he's more of a midfield player. So, but both very good players. And hopefully, I think Onana has got the potential to be a much better footballer than Marouane Fellaini. But Fellaini was brilliant for Everton.
Yeah.
Despite those sometimes sloppy tackles you saw the first two games, just the way that he gets extended, like telescopic legs for Onana. And he just gets there. It's never, lately at least, since he's been starting, basically, it's almost never a foul. It's just inch perfect. When you think that there's no way someone's going to break up this attack, he does it. And so obviously, even if we don't have Ghana in there, Onana can move back to the 6 like they did. And when they press in the middle, Davey is released higher up to press with Mope.
Yeah.
But and I'm seeing that going down the sort of left channel too, that Onana can put it even on his weak foot, and like the own goal that our former left back put in nicely for us. Those driving runs down that left channel, I think, are going to be key for him. But that's all I wanted to say, guys. It's
cheers,
a great
Pat.
talk with you.
Cheers, Pat. Great
Pat.
to speak to you, mate. Thank you.
Take it easy.
Cheers, mate.
See you, mate.
See ya.
That was brave of Pat, by the way, to come on and talk about the All-Star game, because the idea of an All-Star game, because people could easily throw the old, well, you're American, how dare you try and change our game, but he clearly wasn't. But
got in there.
It's got the conversation going, hasn't it? I've seen Sky doing a thing today about it, seeing which teams would be on either side and all that kind of thing. And it will be a conversation starter, won't it? And I think we both said earlier on, we both don't think there's any time or any appetite for it. But other things, there's what I would say, and this is what we both said earlier, or certainly I said, is there's no need to dismiss an idea just because it doesn't come from the traditional idea places, which is, if someone comes into our game and is new to the country or whatever, don't take it as a insult when they say something should change in the game, because it's not always for the worst. Okay, and a All-Star game is alien and doesn't really fit in with football over here. But good ideas can come and emerge from things like that. And when he said about the relegation thing, well, Germany have a relegation playoff.
We did.
Yeah.
People forget we did it the very first thing. Leeds were involved.
Holland has a playoff for the final, or for the UEFA conference place, which I think we should have in this country as well. Said this loads of times. I think if we had a playoff for the final European place, if it went to the league, I think it would keep the league very, very interesting right to the end. Everybody would have something to play for in the final few weeks, and would make sure that there was no easy games for anyone. So there are ideas that can be taken from other places. I just don't think this one would work logistically, and football clubs would not want to let players go.
Well, Andy, just before we take the next call, Andy on Premier says, going on from the Daily Live, there was a video put out by Free Kickers called Nike Strike last night, where Aubameyang, Icardi, Rashford, Benteke, etc. were premiering new Nike boots in a shot challenge, and people like Drogba rated it out of 10. I think it would do mad views and be a great watch, something like that.
Well, it would, and that's the thing. If other people are doing it, commercial entities are doing it, then the Premier League should do it. Right, we've got Ahmed taking time off from Saving Lives.
Yeah. I've just had a holiday, actually. I've had a bit of time off.
Have you? Where have you been?
I went to Turkey. It was really good, actually.
Get your teeth done?
No.
Hairline?
Hair and teeth, all done.
Maybe next time I'll get my hair done.
I reckon you've got people in... you must have a brother who does teeth.
No, I don't have a brother. I've got a sister who does teeth.
There you go. See, I knew there'd be one.
We knew that he would have the contract.
Yeah, I knew
Top
he would.
man. He's top man.
I've seen him. Listen, outside his house, there's about 4 or 5 cars that drive themselves. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Not in London, there won't be, mate. Not in
no,
London.
I've had my car nicked in London, actually. So get me back home.
No, mate.
Bloody London.
It is bad when you
dodgy wheel as well.
Top of the range Tesla, that's right, kid.
It drove itself.
Yeah, it drove itself off.
Yeah. There's a couple of things. I think with the All-Star game, I think it's the start of the conversation is beginning of the end, really. It will happen, and I think it's not a bad thing, actually. It'll be about logistics. I think the Premier League will push it because it's a money maker. It'll be sold internationally. You'll go to Asia, America, or somewhere like that. And it is interesting. Look, I'd love to see some of those teams come together. So I can see it happening. Maybe not in the next 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
But who knows? It will happen.
Yeah.
And it's the inevitable Americanization of the sport with the ownership, and it's got its good points, it's got its bad points. I'm not here to judge it, really.
Yeah.
The other thing I'd like to say is I'm so happy with the correction about the Onana comparisons, because I watched Fellaini. He was like, when I was going the game, he was one of the players I was watching most. And they're not similar players. They have a similar physique.
Yeah.
Onana's far more technically gifted. He's 2-footed. a lot more mobile, but not as composed in front of goal, not as good in the air.
Yeah.
And maybe doesn't have that same vision yet that Fellaini had. But they both have aggression, which I like. I really like that part of them. And the last thing I was going to talk about was, since Kudus has come to the fore with all the Champions League and everything, it's so reassuring that we are looking at players like Kudus, Onana, Mudryk, these imaginative players, something that we can invest in, as opposed to our previous, the last incarnation of our transfer plan, which was Sigurdsson, Williams. Oh, I don't even want to go back on it. Really.
No, don't name them all, Ahmed. Bloody hell.
No, I think that's. I seen that last night when he scored, and I seen sort of like the doom side of it, which is the typical social media side of it, which is, we missed out on another one there. But like you've just said there, my thoughts were, well,
we're looking.
We didn't miss out because of anything we did. We missed out. We missed out because Ajax shut it down because they knew Anthony was going to Manchester United for 90-odd million quid. So you can fully understand that from their point of view. But we were looking, and we were looking in the right place.
And he wanted to come.
And he still wants to come, apparently. And that, to me, yeah, you're absolutely right. We're looking in the right places now, at least. And we're getting, listen, whether you buy into all of it with the idea of, Frank got on the phone to this fella or got on the phone to the other fella. Well, we're playing the team at the weekend who thought he had Onana sewn up, but the kid was desperate to sign for Everton. And when I first heard that, I just genuinely couldn't believe that, in terms of, the concept of a kid who looked like he was signing for someone, stopped because saying, no, I want to play for Everton. That's so alien to where we've been in the last few years. So that's.
I remember actually when the Onana thing was going on, I messaged you on Twitter, and you're like, well, we'll see, because he does want to come. And I couldn't believe it. I was in the same reaction. I was like, I am not putting any hope in this. Because I've seen Diaz, and before that, I remember Manuel Fernandes, and you'll have talked about the other Brazilian striker. I've forgotten his name now. Muller, yeah. So you just don't put any hope into it until it's done. But it's so much more reassuring.
Yeah, that's it. That's the first starting point, isn't it? I mean, listen, sitting next to Bas for the last 3 years, and the players he's been talking about, and Everton haven't been going for them, and now they suddenly look like they are going for them, and those players seem to be interested, and that's positive. And people can make it a negative if they want to say, we missed out on this player, but if we're looking in the right places and we pick a couple up, if we go for 5 and we get 2, then I think that's not bad.
Yeah.
So that's really positive.
If you do all your work and the lad wants to come and his team won't let him, we can't do any more. But at least, like you just said, Ahmed, at least we were there looking. And that, I've been banging my head against the table for years, and the piv and the conversations we all have with Andy about different players, and you can see, Sangari, Liverpool, looking at him, and that winds me up. It's like
I don't even want to talk about Sangari.
No, but that was 8 million. 8 million. Do you know what I mean? And it's like it's absolutely infuriating. But at least
just the Premier League tax would have made it, because he'd have come.
Of course,
he'd have been worth 12 million straight away.
Immediately. So what we've got to do now, I think you'll agree, we've got to get Onana's now before they become 30 million. Yeah. So we've got to be the ones now getting them at 8 and 10 and 12 million. Look at Patterson. Another example, 11 million plus from add-ons where people were going, why are we paying that much for this? And it's like, it's not a lot of money for someone who's got loads of potential. It's a lot of money if there's no real ceiling. If he's already at the ceiling. He's a 20-year-old lad. I mean, he looks fantastic, doesn't he?
It's exactly, that's context. It's a lot of money for Neil Maupay, which it's not a lot. It's the right amount of money for Neil Maupay, but it's not a lot of money for Nathan Patterson, because the context is completely different. Yeah. And it'll only take the transit. So say Onana just smashes it, just say, for 2-3 years, and then his talent levels, I haven't seen a midfielder with that talent levels playing for us for years. And say he does go to one of the big clubs, I'm talking like Barca or Real. All the other players in France are like, I want to go to Everton because I go to Real Madrid afterwards. All of a sudden, in 2-3 years after that, you do the Borussia Dortmund thing. You've got a great team
and loads of money.
It's a no-brainer.
Ahmed, before you go, because you're probably going to save someone's life in a minute.
I think so.
Before you go, we were talking about this the other day. Have you been? Ped's just mentioned it, and it's why I've come back to it. But have you been surprised with how many people have name-checked Frank Lampard as the influence, because Onana is one of them, and that's why I'm like bringing it back. And I know James Garner was another one, and it's this Garner guy actually mentioned how good a player Lampard's been as well. So do you think that's been key as well in people like Onana going, I actually want to go there, and James Garner, I actually want to go and play for him because he's Frank Lampard and I remember how good he was and all that?
It's about relevance, isn't it? Frank Lampard is irrelevant to these players. We previously had a lack of imagination in every factor, from recruitment to hiring managers to whatever else, marketing in the department, of the club. So all of a sudden you go from Rafa Benitez, which doesn't inspire anyone, to a potential hero of these players. They probably played him. He's got the legend card on FIFA and all of that.
Yeah.
And they want to play for him, and it is massive. If I'm a young player, I want to play for Frank Lampard. I do not want to play for Rafa Benitez.
Yeah.
He will choke me. Yeah. And I'm not putting shade on Rafa Benitez because he did good stuff with Anthony Gordon, but really no one's signing for Rafa Benitez.
No.
Last thing, sorry, I just
go on, mate.
The South of the River documentary. I lived south. I've just moved north of the river now.
Right.
I live south of the river.
Yeah.
The talent is unbelievable. But forget the talent. I think me and Ped have mentioned this previously. It's the cages. And I'd love to see cages.
Yeah, I've said this loads of times. Well, there's like three.
What a documentary, by
There's
the way.
three different documentaries though, because you've watched that one. I've watched the one on Sky. There's one on Sky as well, and then there's
Channel 4.
Yeah, and there's the Channel 4 one as well about Crystal Palace. Yeah. And I've said this, Ahmed, and I don't know how many people agree or have noticed, but there's such a lack of footballing ability coming out of this city at the moment.
It's scary. It's not just football. It's
everything. I've said this, and people have gone, no, because there's that person. I'm going, yeah, but look at the amount of. Do you reckon it's something like is it a 6 now of all the players who play in the Premier League are from South London?
14% of the Premier League.
So
from South London,
and that's from Liverpool.
And when you consider that 50% more, I think now is it 50% of what are classed as foreign players? That then leaves 30 odd percent.
You'll know Ahmed, and we know ourselves. Liverpool in the last 4 or 5 years has had lots of these. 4 or 5 of these. Parks have been taken over, and we've put all these nice facilities on. But they're only nice facilities if you play for a nice team and you can afford to go, and you're in a league and all this kind of thing. Where are the places like you're talking about? Where's the places? And I know South London is a little bit different to Liverpool, in terms of how where people live, and there's less flats and things now. But where are the places for kids to just go and play football without supervision, without someone watching them over the shoulder, being able to express themselves? And there's just no.
I grew up near Old Swan, and you go around Old Swan. There's nowhere communal for these kids to play.
No.
Where do they play? And the thing is, these kids, they congregate, and I've watched these kids. You can't, I'm 31. I can't just stay watching kids playing footy, but sometimes you do just catch them on your jog, and the talent and the aggression, they're playing multi-age football, and it's taking them off bad things. They're just playing the football, and they see football as a legitimate path.
Well, Ahmed, I live not far from you in Liverpool, and you've got the Shankleys, right, but it's all locked up and it's a big field. You've got the facilities in the school by yours, but obviously it's a school, no one's allowed in there because it's quite a posh school. And you haven't got anything then for I think the next one down is like you'd have to go to Canny Farm, which is quite a bit away. You've got the pitches next to Peter Lloyd, but Peter Lloyd shut down, so I don't know whether you can still go in them. But there you have to pay for them. There's no places in Liverpool where kids can just rock up and feel though. And this is the most important thing, and I don't know about you, but I know this was the thing for me when I was a kid. You just wanted to play football in a small space that it was just you and your mates, and you didn't have to worry.
Safe, yeah.
You didn't have to
the road,
but you didn't have to worry about like someone's almost coming and taking over or starting coaching you. You wanted to just express yourself and do your own thing. And it is somewhere that you can meet up as well. And just nowhere like that in Liverpool. And I think as a city, and I think this is going under the radar, I really do think we are lacking talent. And that's terrible. That is absolutely terrible for a city like Liverpool. I don't see where the amazing talent is in Liverpool. I really don't. I just don't see it. I just You've got we've got Anthony Gordon, and Liverpool have got a couple, but I just don't see where the talent pool is anymore.
Not for that. What you're getting is, and I think the difference with South London is, you're getting street footballers in South London. In what you're seeing in Liverpool, and I see it from obviously watching Zach play. You see players who are good, but they're just the robotically coached good. Yeah. So you're in, and it's like you do this and you do that. The odd one, you do see the odd one. I see the odd one playing who's a little like wild card, who is like a little bit of a street footballer. But that'll get less and less because they'll coach it out of him. Whereas when you're playing in those cages, and you see with these kids are still at, like in the documentary I've just watched, the lads at Millwall playing for Millwall, and he's a scholar and he's going playing with his mates in the cage in the night. As he's going, I because you come here all the time. When I was 18 playing. To get I
would love to see Everton and Liverpool actually put money into building cages around the city and just going, well, know what? Once a week or twice a week we'll turn up and do a coaching session. But the rest of the time it's the community. And I'd love to see Everton build one right next to the new stadium as well. And I'd love to see Liverpool build one right next to their stadium where the top end of the car park or something. And just say, you know what? This is something for you kids. For the community. Just for the community. We've already destroyed most of the community. So we'll put one in there. And I'd love to see Everton put one by the new stadium. Absolutely. And just say, kids, go and play football. And you know what? This is another thing that's been mentioned about like crime and kids and like you just said, kids don't have anywhere to go, but they need to have places to go where they don't feel like they're being watched, or it's like within the confines of a youth club or something. They need to go somewhere where they feel like they can be themselves. And I think if these 3, 4, 5 of these started popping up around the city, paid for by Everton and Liverpool, then I think we'd be.
Haven't we talked about? We've talked about this a few
million
years
times,
ago,
mate.
There was actually
talk a few years back that Nike were going to start doing it. Remember, Nike started their own academy.
Yeah.
There was talk that Nike were going to bring one to the city because I knew someone who worked within the coaching, independent. Professional coaching, and they were like, Nike are going to bring one to the city, and it's going to be like almost a talent pool which they're just going to keep an eye, but it never materialized. And I think it's something.
Well, it shouldn't be Nike anyway. No. It should be Everton. It should be Liverpool. It should be us.
Yeah. It should be, but unfortunately, because now these pitches, and I know people will go, well, you've got goals. Goals is like 70 or 80 pound for an hour, and that's not. These are kids who just want to rock up and play footy. So.
Yeah, outside of their own, near where they live,
exactly,
where the mum and dad know where they are, and you will cultivate talent. Anyway, lads,
cheers, Ahmed. Nice one, mate.
Cheers,
thanks for the call,
mate. Take care,
Gary Neville has said, I keep saying it, but the quicker we get a regulator the better. US investments into English football is a clear and present danger to the pyramid and fabric of the game. They just don't get it and think differently. They also don't stop until they get what they want.
There you go.
She's obviously referring to Big Ted.
Referring to Ted there, Big Ted. Mark D said, just watched Baz and the 10 Pint podcast. Enjoyed it as much as Ped's interview.
Good stuff.
Good. Check it out. It's good, really lads. Good.
That was good that we did those separately, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Rather than doing it together.
Yeah, it's a different thing, isn't it? I've just seen a couple of things just on the cages, which was interesting. James Boris says you don't have to go and run 100 metres if you overkick the ball. That's one of the things, isn't it?
That is a big thing, though. The documentary you watch, I'm sure, is similar to the one I watch.
Watch it on Netflix.
I will do.
Rio Ferdinand.
It's all. Well, the one I've watched is on. It's on Sky Documentaries. We'll get Astro on in a minute. It's about Sky. It's on Sky Documentaries, and it's about the cages, but it's also about lads progressing from the cages into teams. And there's a lad who plays for like a non-league team in London, and he's trying to, and they're showing how
it might be the same.
It's probably similar, and they're showing like
how Bromley.
No, they're showing like the temperament of him. He's a bad, angry lad, and how it's stopping him, and they're showing all these different aspects of it because they're all just normal kids, and they haven't been through the filter, they haven't been through the system, so they're a lot more edgier. Yeah. But we're just. In this city, honestly, I've noticed it. I watched the Commonwealth Games and I was like, "Where's all the athletes from Liverpool?" There was KGT, that was it. There's nobody else, I don't think, bar maybe a couple. We're not making athletes, and we're certainly not making footballers anymore. We're gonna go to a World Cup, and we're gonna have maybe 2 Scousers in it.
And that's it.
Trent and Connor Cody, who's questionable. honourable now.
Yeah, 100%.
But know what I mean? No, we're going to have 2.
Yeah.
That's terrible, that. That is genuinely terrible. Especially when the last generation had 2 of the finest players England has seen in Gerrard and Rooney.
But also have people like Ross Barkley in it and other Liverpool players.
Yeah.
We've always had strong representation, haven't we?
And it's severely lacking, and people might go, "Oh, you're talking nonsense because we've got this lad and that lad." And it's like, but where are they? Where's the genuine top players in this country?
No, you need to. Stephen Ramsdale thinks every Premier League player should have to pay 2% of their wages into something like the grassroots. And James says it's the same concept of why basketball works in the USA. Open courts are everywhere. All you need is a ball and a hoop, and that's it.
And the competitiveness comes because actually, funny enough, I watched a documentary on Netflix last week, and it was about it was really good actually. There was a sports brand in the 90s, and I remember it because I was in the States. It was called And One, and it was about basketball being this, like, they couldn't afford to like give money to any of the professionals. So basically, what they built was these like street leagues, and then they got all the best players and they took them on tour and did these like freestyle competitions and freestyle games. And they made these people into superstars. And because they were superstars in their local area, in the cages, they were relatable, they were relevant to the people there. It made them feel like they could. I think one lad did end up in the NBA. But these people, for like a few years, felt like they were absolute stars, getting taken around the country. And I think that's when you're playing in those kind of environments, you feel like you're your own little superstar in your area, and it elevates you up. And it might, when it's something that we're missing massively at the moment.
Just before we go, we will go to us. But the Mathew Bush says we were spoiled for choice growing up in the 80s for places to play footy, car parks, random fields in the state. Failing that, a game of shooties with your mate on the other side of the street. Neil says jumpers for goalposts. Well, on that 10th Pint podcast, I was telling the lads about the story I've told you. It was like the day before Spurs and Rooney made his day, comes up with no top on a ball. And then told us after that Spurs game that he went home and went out and played street footy with his mates for 3 hours. He just made his Premier League debut.
See, we used to always go to there was an infants by ours, and it had like a little piece of grass, right, and it had 2 trees, and it was a brilliant area to play doubles on, because it meant that when you scored, it hit the fence and bounced back. If it ever went over, it only went over a little bit.
I used to play at me nans. Used to play at me nans, but with the Holt, when the Holt was the Holt, but by Picton Clough, the lower school, so we just climb over the fence and play there. So you had the thing, you'd be there for 3 hours.
But it was the equivalent of the cage, because there was fences all the way round. It was a little piece of grass, and you'd play doubles. So it was like the most a game would go for is like 10 minutes, and then you'd swap teams.
Do you remember when I was doing joinery? I was about 19, 20. There was the bull ring, so I was working in Greek Street there, but there was if you remember, there was a cage there, and that was like, so we'd go in at lunchtime and play in the cage, and that's what we'd do, and just have a game of soccer. It was great.
Astro, are you there, my friend?
Oh, I'm always here, my friend. How are you?
Sorry, we were just reminiscing about
jumpers
for goalposts.
I'm sitting here listening to it, and I'm just like, you know what? I'm actually content just to sit here and listen. I got nothing to add to the quality that you guys are providing right now.
Stop it. Go on.
No, I want to say, Baz does not understand that he has fueled a Fat Larry's band like playlist because of his 10th podcast, because when he mentioned Zoom, I was like, "Oh, Zoom's just the tip of the iceberg. You got to act like you know," and that's coming to a match reaction. You know what I mean? That's.
We're always singing Zoom in here. Yeah. We're always singing Zoom in here. Have we lost him, Ned?
Astro, come on. Go on, you're back. Go on, mate.
Yeah, you got me. Sorry. I was going to say that I kind of fancy myself a musical aficionado, and I had never heard Zoom, right? And then my wife actually played it for me and said that it was one of the songs that like her dad would like play a lot, and he's a great guy. And I was like, you know what? I've never heard this song before. So it like opened a whole nother door to like a band that I'd never heard before. And when you feel like you've heard everything, it's always refreshing to hear something new. So yeah, Baz has been partially responsible for a Fat Larry's band playlist.
You know what, mate?
Marathon.
Do you know what's mad, Astro? Right, is that you know when they say like smells or senses or whatever can take you back to that time in your life. And all I have to hear is Zoom chase the day away, and I'm in the lower Bullens with me dad. It's 2:25 on a Saturday because the league wasn't getting pissed about with our 5 kickoffs. It was 2:25, and I'm watching Aidan Heath with his trackies on, warming Neville Southall up and Graham Sharp, and there's about 4,000 people in the stadium because people are still having a bevy, and I can see, and I'm watching every warm up, and that song and Why Do You Have to Be a Heartbreaker by Dion Warwick. Those two songs take me back to being 9, 10, and just being there, obsessed with like this thing and watching everything they did. And it's still kind of like when I hear the song or I talk about it, I get like some like little goosebumps on my body to be like all of those years
Everyone
ago.
wants to rule the world. Like Tears for Fears.
Another classic song.
That's like it's classic 80s Everton.
And I'll tell you, when Everton were champions, Opus, is it? Life is life. Life is life.
Maradona one.
Again, we come in at Goodison, half
sad
time,
people,
every time, half time. It is
No,
sad, but that takes you back. Sorry, Ash, so what have you... Go on, mate. Back to you. Back to you.
I'm happy to listen, mate.
No, back to you. Go on.
Right? You know how in the Blues Brothers, right, when they get out of prison and they're going around and they get the band back together, right? Does it not feel like Frank Thelwell, right, or Kevin Thelwell and Frank Lampard are getting the Everton band back together? I know that these aren't like players who played for us, but they're getting the right people, right? They're getting the right people in the right roles. Like watching that derby, right? Watching like when Idrissa got on the pitch, it's like that midfield acted in a way that it had not acted in ages. It was incredible. I mean, just it felt like we had it was like a whole new game, and we're getting the recruitment right. And listen, part of any good situation is something you want to be a part of, right? These players, they look at us as the supporters, or you guys as the supporters, and they're like, if these people have this much fun and go this crazy just to stay up, imagine how rad it's going to be in that place if we win something or if we build something special. Everybody can do something average. When you get the opportunity to be part of something extraordinary, that's something that stands apart. And that's always like kind of been that appeal to Everton for me. And I think these players are seeing that there's this like situation coming together where recruitment's right and coaching's right and players are right. It's like it's in the air. It feels like something's going to go right, and that's exciting, and that's something that people want to be a part of. That enthusiasm is contagious. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and all it takes is to get started, and it'll take in that locker room. It feels like things have just shifted, does it not?
Yeah, sorry, I was just looking at a banner Celtic fans have brought to the match. No, it does feel a little bit like that. It does feel like, hopefully, like the calm before the storm. Hopefully, I think we're all feeling a little bit positive, a bit more positive about which way it's going. And when you hear the people that they're bringing into the club, it feels a lot more like it's being run like a proper football club and not a gang of mates just deciding what they want to do together. It does feel like there is a plan, a clear plan and a clear pathway. And of course, football doesn't give you what you deserve all the time, or doesn't give you what you want.
No.
You have to earn that. But it does feel like they're giving themselves the best chance of that. And I think a lot of people are buoyed by that, is that, you know, the team, saying that started the derby, was completely different from the one that started it last season, you know, bar a couple of players. And I think that's when you sit here as a fan, you don't always notice the changes. You know, you when the changes are happening one by one, you don't necessarily notice. But when you go back to a game that was played last season and see like there's like 2 survivors from that then you go, oh yeah, things are changing. Things are changing quite quickly at this football club. So yeah, I think we have to be positive. We have to be patient still, and just let the process happen. And hopefully, if we can get our first win on Sunday ahead of an international break, that'll take the pressure off from the outside and any sort of people who are still putting that bit of negativity on us all. So yeah, it's looking a lot better.
It feels like it's been a month since we've seen Everton kick a ball. You know what I mean? There's just been so much water under the bridge the last 12, or not even 10 days now at this point.
Yeah.
So just to get that sense of normality back with them playing. And I don't know, I don't like it when momentum gets stifled. You know what I mean? That momentum, you want to keep it constant, even if it is kind of slow in starting. It's got to build, and I think that we're on the right path. And I'm saying that, and we don't even have a win in the column yet,
exactly.
Right? And there's room for positivity right now. There's room for encouragement, and there's room for a building excitement, which I think is just extraordinary. And I'm really looking forward to the match. I hope we absolutely just batter them front, left, and upside and backside. And, you know what I mean? I just feel like we owe them one. Yeah. In fact, the last match I saw at Goodison, Ped, you'll remember, Baz, you'll both remember this, was when Lukaku scored the late header for us in February of 2014. We beat West Ham. Yeah, beat them 1-0 late. Yeah, nicked a late win 1-0. I don't know. Everton just felt like a weight last year.
Yeah,
it felt like a weight you had to carry around.
Yeah,
and now it doesn't. Now it feels like something to look forward to again. And wow, how great is it to say that?
That's the most important thing.
That is the big turn. Yeah. When things are improving because you want to watch them again. When, last season, you just wanted 2 weeks in between every game and 3 weeks because it was just to slow it down, But now it's I'm looking forward to watching them again. So hopefully that continues, and if we can get over this injury case and keep people fit, then I think we could have a decent season.
Nick, I just have to I have to finish off by saying something that will make you feel sad.
Oh no, don't do that. I'm fragile at the moment.
I have just received the first 4 episodes of Andor. Sorry, my friend.
No, that doesn't make me. You mistake me for somebody. You mistake me for somebody that hates and propagates, man. No. I'm excited for you, and I also know that you'll be able to give me that first impression.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You're not going the spoiler-free first.
Oh, of course it'll be spoiler-free.
No. Yeah, of course it'll be spoiler-free.
Well said. There
you go.
That I'm most excited. No, and I just want to say that, I know I get to hear you guys on Toffee TV all the time, and it's so boss. But you guys, I really enjoyed both you guys going on that 10th Pint podcast. Yeah. I really did. Just some of the stories that you guys both told. I mean, I'd heard them before, but you kind of told them in a different setting, and it was just really great. I just want to thank you guys for going on there and doing that because I don't know, man, you guys are like the head professors of my Everton education, along with Dave, LCAB, you know what I mean? So I appreciate it. And it's a really good opportunity to hear you guys experience, because think about it. There's so many Evertonians like me who don't have all these Everton experiences like you do. Right. So it's it's a way for us to be involved, and it's a way for us to engage. And it's really great. I appreciate it.
Cheers, my friend.
Thanks very much. Thanks for saying, Nick. Stay safe, mate. Keep smiling.
Absolutely. I have to be a bit subdued. I'm right outside the building at the office, so I can't be giving you any woos today. Yeah. We're gonna save the woo for the weekend.
That's it.
That's the one.
When we get all of them points, baby.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Cheers, lads.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers,
See you
Nick.
later.
Take care, mate. Bye.
Cheers. Yep.
Top man. Yeah. As always. Is Mudrick playing here? Will be, won't he? There he is, there on the left, isn't he?
Yes. Check that.
Interesting.
Good start for Celtic. Should have scored.
Yeah. Where are we here? Just seeing a couple of interesting ones there. Paz says they should go all the way and reintroduce the Superstars competition on TV, but Premier League edition. Everton Viking says Maupai's an out-and-out striker. He doesn't have the pace to play out wide. It'd just be the waste of a spot. To be fair to Gray, he has been pretty decent so far and was very good against Liverpool. Don't see why he should be dropped.
Why you said he should be dropped?
Hang on, Garrett said. Oh yeah, Gaz has said further up. No, but I think Maupai can play wide. I don't think you necessarily have to visualise him picking the ball up from like our penalty area and running up the pitch with it. I don't think you need to do that. You can play as a front three, as a prop, or play off Dom and coming off a side. And as long as you're pressing in the right man. Don't forget he ran 11 kilometres in the derby more than anybody else on the pitch. So he's a talent, he's a hard working player. Not saying that it'd work every week, but there's horses for courses, isn't there? And what I would say is over the season, I'd back Maupay to score more goals than Damari Gray. So sometimes you have to look at, can you get more goals in the team? But Gray's been good of late. Gray's been really good. Now he's got to put more goals into his game. We can't have players who are in our front positions who don't score enough goals, and that's the issue. Whereas other teams have got players in wide areas.
Options, of course, yeah. It's all about being able to change the way you play, not only match to match, but during the match as well. Yeah. You know, there might be situations where Everton play a front three and then drop into a front two and have an extra man in midfield or whatever.
Don't forget, when you think of a 4-3-3, people do visual. Well, you know, we've got to get the ball off the fullback and carry it up the pitch. Who was terrible at doing that? Who had loads of talent, but it was terrible picking the ball up in our half. Adam O'Loughlin, who would have played wide in a 4-3-3. He was abysmal at picking the ball up in our half and travelling with it. But you got him on the football around the penalty area. He comes to life. Loads happens. What you do is the most important thing. What you can do when you're playing 4-3-3. And we kind of seen this against Liverpool. Only it was Tom Davies who went and done it. Yeah. Was that we moved into a 4-4-2 out of possession. So if you've got Neil Maupay there, then he drops into a 4-4-2 with Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Say one of your midfielders just shuffles over, and you've got 8 men behind the ball.
Nigel, you'll have to tell us if we got callers. We put Celtic on.
Yeah. Grant says for the All-Star game idea, how about just the managers playing against each other or against the refs?
Well, Baz said before they should just get the goalies.
Goalie v goalie, it'd be amazing. Like
we actually just seen a MLS video, haven't we, of the goalie competition where they have like bowling to each other and
like making saves. Belter. Josh says moved back to Liverpool from Canada for a year in 2006. I was 12 and we were playing the streets of Fazakerley. There were some parks in the Vale that had little AstroTurf fields. I played next to Fazak Ozzy on Lower Lane. The only reason I had the touch growing up was from playing in the streets.
Remember when you were you'll remember this, but like, you know, if you'd ever rented out a pitch and you'd always get those kids who were just standing at the side waiting to jump on,
waiting to get on,
or then some of them might even go, do you need an extra couple of plays and all that. The you've got to give kids somewhere to play, because as I said,
somewhere where there's a net on a goal.
But the thing is though, where I grew up, so I grew up in Egbert, and we had the APH field where we played our Sunday League games, and then we had Sefton Park, but we never went and played footy there because they were just too big. They were too big, unless there was loads of us. They were too big because you want really small areas.
And you always wanted a wall behind.
You wanted a wall, yeah.
You didn't have to go for 100 miles.
You didn't have to go running for it because you always knew there was a couple of dodgy players. You know, or even if you just smashed one in from, like, you know, you didn't want to go legging for it.
No.
You wanted a little... and I just think that's where they're missing a massive trick. They could get a lot of things sorted in this city and other cities by having places where kids can just play footy and they're not being watched. But somewhere like Everton Liverpool could literally go, right, every night at 6 o'clock, we're having an hour of coaching. Every single night, and it could be Liverpool one night and Everton the next. Send down their community coaches.
Win 1-0.
Get in.
Goal, home goal. It might have been, but
look at him with the scum shielding.
Made up.
Oh, he got a crack on the face there. Liverpool and Everton send, and it could be, might even be that late. It could be 5 o'clock, or it could be 4:30 because obviously kids coming out of school and stuff. Yeah. And it could be you get an hour of coaching, and there's loads of kids there. And I know Everton and Liverpool have done before, so I'm not saying they don't do it. They do it. But I just think that in the last few years they've built some great facilities in the city, but they're too organised. They're too you know, we have Mike who comes on and, you know, you do the coaching. My mate Graham does the coaching with his kids, and what did he leave it for?
Because I think he thought he might have been offside, and it was a deflection anyway. So just leave it.
Very unselfish. So we know there's good things happening, but not every parent's kid can afford to pay for all the things kids are being asked to pay. But also though, not every kid wants to play football in a organised fashion either.
No.
They want to go and do their own thing.
Well, we saw it when we, you know, for the Christmas special. I'm sure we'll might do something like that again this year. But
100%.
Just hiring the pitch, and it was great. But that was like what was it, 50 quid or something, and we only had like a quarter pitch or whatever. Now, if you just getting kids that just want to go and have a game of footy, how can kids can't afford 50 quid for an hour? You know, you'd have to have these. You see it in schools, like a lot of the schools have like muggers, don't they? Multi-use games area. It's called the mugger. So Zach used to, oh yeah, we draw time in the mugger, and I was like, what? But that's what it is. But it's a cage, essentially, and schools building them now because they know.
And they can have basketball nets
exactly,
in
the
them.
basketball's in it and all that. So we should find areas where we're doing this, you know.
And they should be everywhere, by the way, not just like, because I know they have.
There
they
he
do,
goes.
They do build them in like, and it's normally in like deprived areas. Oh, that's it.
Oh,
he didn't read him. He looks up playing him, doesn't he?
They do for the goal of
they do build them in deprived areas mostly.
Yeah.
But I just think these are the things they should be building but they should be building within parks as well. So like Sefton Park should have one, and Nugent Park should have one, and you know Greenhill Park should have one.
Just to be able to go for some, you know. When listen, I know they might go, well, you know, whatever, kids will congregate down there. But
good, you know where they are. Then
that's what it's about. And if it's a case where it's 2v2, then you know 2 groups turn up, then you just have half a pitch each, wouldn't you? Or I mean, that's when you see it. Honestly, such a set. What did you stop the game for here? But what you need to do, watch that. It might be the same one.
I will.
You know,
no, I don't think it is. I don't think it is.
But if
this one, that one's by Real Ferdinand, the one you watched, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's on Netflix, and it's really good. It's dead interesting. It's all the same thing of the story. It's all the kind of same story and all that. Like there's different kids who aren't at clubs. A couple of them are, but a couple of them aren't. They're unattached. They're trying to get clubs. They're going through these boys' clubs, and they're saying like, work with us, and we can. You know, they have these scout games where like coaches come. Think probably how Luckman got into Charlton by playing in a game, and he was brilliant, wasn't he? And they took him. It's dead interesting.
The one I watched, I think I told you, there was a scout driving around and watching kids train. He seen a kid, went over to him and said, "What are you doing Saturday?" He said, "Because I've got a trial game against Cheltenham." He said, "I need to put 11 players together." Got him, and he got him a trial because of the thing for Cheltenham, and then he got in. I think he got into Cheltenham then because of it, and that just shows you, like you know, the talent is out there. But it's untapped because what we're saying is that if kids are not in academies by the time they're 14, they're finished and all that. But they're learning all these other skills. They're learning how to be fantastic footballers.
But that's nonsense, no.
No, it is.
And you did feel like that. You did feel like I told you before, as a you know. And they went through a bit of that, but I never really, like these kids have had the like right guidance or whatever, and the people who are with them are brilliant. The lads who are coaching them, like keep going even at 18. You keep going, doesn't matter. You just get better and better, and if you become that good, you will end up because there's other options. And I think some clubs are looking at that as well, because thingy's on it. There's a kid who's at Oxford, so Carl Robinson's on it as well, talking a little bit about it, going like, you know. Got to do this and you've got it. And obviously he gave people like Delhi, didn't he? He gave Delhi his debut or whatever, but he's worked with loads of young players. I think he was at Liverpool, wasn't he? So it's that interesting. Ahmed says also 1878 FM podcast is boss.
Cheers, mate.
Nice one, Ahmed.
I played with Carl Robinson.
Did you? Yeah.
You played with him and against him.
Have you? Yeah. There you go.
Good player.
That's it, isn't it? There's loads of
he never made it.
No.
So he went into coaching.
Yeah.
Never made it when he was like 23. So we went into coaching.
Yeah, that's it.
And
it's having that foresight.
Now he's a manager, and he's married to one of the people from Atomic Kitten.
Is he? Yeah.
He's married to Dingo, isn't
he? Is he?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
The one at all the coffee shops. I think he's married to her.
Oh, okay. Jack says, would you like to see an MLS shootout at half time during league matches? Maybe use the subs or the youth team players.
I'd like.
You could do stuff like that.
I'd like to see. I'd genuinely like to see.
Not the subs though.
No,
subs couldn't be done.
I'd genuinely like to see if it like the League Cup using a model like that for like games after 90 minutes. The game ends in a draw after 90 minutes. Don't go to extra time. Don't go to penalties. Go to a shootout.
It gets the interest up.
Get it. Make it a little bit different. Make it a little bit more skill. You know, because at the end of the day, doing a shootout's not like a penalty shootout where you can just smash it in. No. And there's an element of luck in it towards the end. That's got a. There's a lot. You've got 90 minutes of running in you, and you've now got to run from the halfway line and beat a goalkeeper. Yeah. I'd love to see something like that.
Be interesting as anything, wouldn't it? Really would. Make sure you hit that like button. Great discussion. Just seen that. That's just slipped away there. Okay. Matty says, not bad on Everton. Supporting us doesn't feel like the weight hanging around your neck like it has been the last few years. Spot on about us managing players game to game and in-game management. We seemed a lot better. And also says about the grassroots stuff. When I was smashing them in a netless goal, I wasn't running after the ball. I was running the other way, telling the team how crap they were. Invest that P says, can you shout out my dad Paul, who's a massive Toffee, probably watching from hospital bed after suffering a heart attack yesterday. Speedy recovery,
Hello,
Dad.
Paul.
Hello, Paul.
All
Wish
the
you the
best.
speedy recovery, mate.
All the best.
Get yourself sorted.
You'll be back on the ground by Sunday. Don't worry about it.
You're buzzing. Stephen says, what game you watching? We're watching Celtic.
Celtic versus Shakhtar. Started at 1:45.
They're currently winning 1-0 and playing very well. James says soccer in the US should be a working class sport, but instead it's a rich suburban sport.
Jesus Christ! I mean, my mate Eric, Kansas, but obviously we all met Britain again when we were in America in the summer, and he's a very talented footballer, but Jesus, the financial outlay they've got to pay just for the kit, for his gear, for the training gear is it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
And you're asking, and this is where in America, where you've got all those other sports, and you're asking, you know, where are the kids in the streets going to play football? You know, where are they going to learn if they're not middle class? You know, and then are they going to be able to fulfill it because, you know, they come from families that maybe want them to go become, I don't know, lawyers and doctors and all these other things. It's definitely in America, it's struggling to get away from that. And we've got to be very, very careful in this country. We don't do that. We've got to be very careful. As this country gets more and more, I know people say it's already, but as it's becoming more and more capitalist and it's all about money, and don't forget, part of the reason why this is all happening and we're talking about South London is because there's no space in South London, and it's happening more and more here. The parks that we played on when we were kids are becoming housing estates or office blocks, and there's nowhere to play, and you can't play in the street anymore because you know, everyone's got, you know, people have got nice cars, or you know, you don't want the ball being smacked on the side of their house and all that kind of thing. You can understand that, but where else are kids going to play? And we're in an age where it's all like, should be outside playing and all this. But where did he play? You're telling them they've got to go and play, and then you're setting up centres where it's £70-80 an hour just to play.
Don't forget as well, like, you know, kids have got loads of choice now. Yeah. Loads of choice to do things. You know, you're competing already against PlayStation and Xbox.
Yeah.
You're competing now against YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Coming home from school,
making their own YouTube videos.
They're making their own videos. That's, I mean, you know, look at Zach. You know, there's loads of things. Luckily, he's obsessed with footy, so he's, you know, I haven't got grass in my garden, my bit of garden.
Build a cage in your garden.
It's not big enough, but you know, I've just got mud because he's just constantly out there. But that's great. But you're also, you know, these kids are also going to MMA now and doing boxing, and there's other things. So if you're a football club, you know, you do want to be going, well, you want the biggest pool of kids you can choose from, and like you've just said, the areas are getting less and less. You're getting what you've got in Liverpool as well, as you've got, like, I don't necessarily think this is a good thing, but you've got like a hierarchy in leagues as well in this city. Yeah. So that's in itself is a bit mad.
Been there for a while after one.
No, it has, but I still would suggest that I bet you don't really get any better players out of those leagues because they're a higher level. Yeah. I don't believe it for the sake, because I think you better play. Now that was a reducer, wasn't it?
What a tackle!
The differentiation will be if you can control a football and can get your head up and play a pass. If you're playing in the top league or you're playing in a league down here, but you can do it. It's the elements that will get you through. Will be your attitude. That was behave, mate. Your attitude.
He's not getting a foul for that, surely.
If he gets a foul for that, it's a joke. is your attitude and your will to win. But also, it'll be the ones who do mess around with the mates, who can drag the ball back in tight situations, or this was the possible penalty. No. Who can do that, and that's why you are seeing that thing in South London, because they are in the cages. They're doing all that stuff. They're battling with other kids. They're getting kicked, and you have to get back up and get on with it. Right. And they're also allowed to express themselves. We're in these leagues now. Parents are becoming... parents are abysmal.
Well, I said to Mike last week, when Mike was here and you went, I said we were talking about referees.
Yeah.
And I said the first thing I'd do if I was in charge is I would, certainly in these facilities, I would not allow parents to watch the games of football. I would put them in the room and say, you've got to watch through the window. Because, number one, for the young referees who are learning to play, and then they don't have that intimidation of anyone watching them. But I'd also do it for the kids as well. So the kids have only got one voice to listening to, and that's the coach's voice. And then the parents are not standing on their line, and they're not being intimidated either by their own parents or someone else's parents. That's another thing I'd do.
I'm saying that, like, I'm agreeing with you there. I'll be honest, I was like coaching from the side last season, because the way our team is, like the two, like the manager and the coach who's with them, they're both school teachers. So, and that's brilliant, right? But no, just let me finish. So but what I'm saying is, I was probably a pain in the ass, probably why they asked me to. Well, but they were quite quiet, and these lads needed coaching. So, but there's a thing with coaching. You're absolutely right. You only really should be listening to one voice of what you're doing, because you want the kids to have the same messaging. But in terms of like the referees and all that, they are kids. I've no like more. They're like 15-year-old lads, and it's like the kids. Do you know what I mean? Okay, they'll make mistakes, and you do sometimes go, ref, come on. You know what I mean? You're not as long. I think that's okay as long as you're not screaming at them. But they shouldn't be like looking over to a line and like the league Zach plays in. It's genuinely a nice league, so it's not. But some of these other leagues, a couple of parents I've spoken to,
I wouldn't have them anywhere near.
I've said the ones like in other areas in the city.
They're on the line,
stories. Threatening them.
I wouldn't have any of that.
The kids are 9 and 10.
Kids want to play, and they want to express themselves, and they want to do the things they've seen either in the Premier League or they've seen on YouTube videos. And then they're getting the ball, and the parents like, get rid of it. No, I wouldn't have it. I'd get rid of the parents. Honestly, I'd get rid of them. It's something I don't think is necessary. If you want to get involved, gotta go do coaching, like help out like you have, and stuff like that. I just think it's a big part of it. I think it's
if we do it, we'll get more and we'll get better and better
because
players,
I think kids get driven away from the game as well. They're going and they're playing football, and they're earning mums and dads or other people's mums and dads. And I used to have...
and it's pressure, isn't it?
I used to have stand-up arguments with other people's mums and dads, and when I was playing footy, they'd be going, you should be doing this, and you should be... listen, shut up. I'm the best player in this team, and your kid's crap, so shut up now. But that was just me when I was 7. Do you know what I mean?
And they were all 11. No, it is, because at the end of the day, and I have been a bit hypocritical in saying this, because I have on the line beings, but the kids want to play the game without feeling the pressure as well, don't they? If there's a pressure from parents for them to do things,
because let's be honest, the way it's gone, even in kids' footy now, they're all trying to be professional, aren't they?
Yeah.
With the full trackies and the initials, and it's all nonsense.
Yeah.
It is nonsense. Yeah. It puts too much demand on the kids to.
No, it's, at the end of the day, they're enjoying it. If they're good enough, there's enough scouts walking around. If they're good enough to be picked up, they'll be picked up, won't they? But it's up to the kids have got responsibility to get better themselves as well. But if they're just playing it for enjoyment, you want to do it well, obviously you do, but you don't need all the intimidation and that. But again, you get better players because they can express themselves. And I think sometimes academies, sanitise football, which is when you see that under-21 football, it is totally and utterly sanitised football. Because it never prepares them for what real football is like. And that's why when we talk about can X step up into the first team because he looks great there, but when they go into the first team, they're playing men's football where the pressure is high and people are going through you and people are strong and they're all athletic. So there's got to be a medium, but you get used to taking them knocks. You get used to getting hit by playing in street kind of football, don't you? And it's like someone mentioned before, Wayne Rooney, Yeah. Neil says, I think it'd be better to invest in grassroots youth clubs, investing in helping clubs. The majority of coaches and staff are volunteers. That's where the stars are born.
Yeah, but there's no... The problem with that is, and I do agree to a point, is there's no obligation for kids to go. You're still stopping the main problem, which is, for me, is kids want to do their own thing. They want to play in their own areas. They want to, I think you've got can do both. You can do both things, but you should be able to do both things. I think you've got to give kids somewhere to go and play.
Yeah.
And then, you can monitor them, can't you? You can keep an eye on them.
Alan says, growing up in Highton, we had fields everywhere to kick a ball on. My lad now struggles to find anywhere and ends up hanging around with his mates online. Yeah. Because it's weird you go to
you
play.
You could look at the Georgies. You got the Georgies in Highton. Pitch black. It's pitch black. Yeah. It'd be dark in an hour. Be pitch black. Kids go home. They're told to do their own work or told to do whatever for 8-9 months of the year. By the time they get outdoors, it might be 6 o'clock after they've done their own work and stuff, and it's dark. But they still want to play footy and stuff. And you're saying the only place with lights you have to pay £100 for. We used to congregate around areas that had like
street
some light, and then we used to go to, there was an old people's home in by ours, and it had like a car park with lights. But when they seen you playing football, they thought you were doing something else.
Yeah,
they thought
you
were just playing footy. Yeah. We just wanted a light and a wall. That's all we wanted. And to be honest, most of the time they just left us alone. But once in a while, someone would come and go, "Oh, you can't," and you're like, "But we're actually not doing anything wrong. We're actually doing something good because we're not out doing other things that we could be doing wrong."
Well, from their perspective, they look out and see a gang of kids. You start thinking, "Hang on, what are these doing?" And you're not actually doing. You just want them facilities. Yeah. So, hit that like button. Why don't you? Matty says the parents of these kids remind me of a pushy beauty queen parents in America. Disgusting behaviour.
But that's because, and that's the other
patience, isn't it?
And the other side of it is because these parents see what can become of the kids. They see that these become multi-millionaires, famous. Oh, I'll get me house, big house that I've always dreamed of because of me kids. Yeah. And actually, when they're when they're looking and they're playing football, everyone else becomes an enemy as well. Like the ref's an enemy, or this kid's an or the coach. You're stopping my kid from doing this or doing that, and suddenly it becomes everyone for themselves. It's like you didn't.
That wasn't the sport.
That's not footy. You don't become. No one ever started playing football to become a professional footballer. They become.
Scored.
Oh, good finish.
1-1. Mudrick, another goal.
What a finish.
No wonder Everton and Arsenal looking at him. Very good.
Tasty finish.
Very good.
Left foot, top bit.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right. Neil says youth development needs organisation and proper coaching. We won't get that up the park with the mate. No, but there's enough of that around as well, Neil. It's the other side. See, Neil, where I disagree, right, is that it's this thing of academy. I've been at Everton since I was 5. I've been at Everton since I was 7. It's nonsense. They haven't produced any better footballers than when they didn't go to clubs till they were 13, 14, 15.
Where are these kids?
That's what I mean. It's nonsense, mate.
Kids?
It's nonsense.
Where are they? That was the point of the conversation is, where are these kids? Oh my God, what are you doing, the keeper there?
Lay down.
Where are these kids? That was the point of the conversation. We're not bringing talent through in this city.
They've been at the club since they were kids, but it doesn't mean
Liverpool
anything.
Have got Trent, and we've got Anthony Gordon, and Anthony Gordon was released by Liverpool, I think. So where are these players? We're not bringing players through. We're not even bringing that many players through that go on to other clubs and become successful. No. It feels to me like it's dried up in this city, and there must be alternatives. And I think one of those alternatives is to just let kids play football, because I don't think the academy system suits everybody. I don't think it does. I
honestly, when I look at it, mate, by now, I was disagreeing with it when it was starting up, and you're going, these kids are getting the width of the leg measured, and people are going, you're not going to be fast enough and all that. When you were 8, 9, 10, it's like, that's bollocks for a start. And I thought, well, I might be wrong. In 5 years, we'll see all the fruits of these. I haven't seen kids when I watch footy. There's no kids where you see come through and you go, oh my God. Steven Gerrard was at Liverpool's academy, but was also playing in Highton with his mates.
Yeah,
Wayne Rooney.
What I was going to say is, I do see, don't get me wrong, I see a lot more talented English footballers I don't disagree on that from the point. I do see a lot of very talented English footballers out there now who can play football in a lot more smaller spaces and are a lot more comfortable. Foden's, no, what I mean is
are better.
The Fodens of the world.
Yeah, but why Phil Foden? Go and see Phil Foden.
No, I'm saying
street football.
This is my point. Is that I don't think it's necessarily. I think that is because we have changed the coaching and we're playing more small-sided games, and the organisation of kids football is when they're younger, they're playing a smaller-sized pitches and smaller-sized teams and all that kind of thing. I get all that. What we're saying is, if you want kids to not everyone can do that, can they? Not everyone can play organised football.
Graham Rodgers nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. You need both.
Yeah,
you need some coaching as a kid. I totally agree. I'm not saying you don't. But you also need the freedom to mess about and make mistakes, trying tricks live against their mates without someone telling them off for trying. That's how these players do these things. It's how they get, and again.
That went out.
That'll be locked, that won't it? 2-1 Shakhtar, but it'll be checked surely.
That went out.
But yeah,
it did go out. This lad went out.
Yeah,
he
done well, Mudryk there, didn't he? Yeah. Sky Sports pundits excited that Everton's Dominic Calvert-Lewin could start for West Ham, says Eugene. Yeah.
Look how far. Well, I mean, it's only just out, but it's definitely out.
He done well though, didn't he? He looks alive.
They're destroying them down Celtic's right here.
Yeah. We've got Mudryk into the game now. He wasn't in the game. Ahmed says you're also now seeing the North-South divide becoming more prominent in the league. From having teams like Blackburn, Huddersfield, Oldham, Bradford and Burnley in the league, they're now being replaced by Bournemouth, Fulham, Brentford, Brighton. Old historic clubs in previous hotbeds of football talent are being replaced by investments and social projects headed in the south.
But also, what I would also say about that is a lot of those teams are in the catchment areas of City, United, Liverpool and Everton and are losing a lot of their players younger. They're not hanging around, they're not building teams with them.
And they also changed that rule so that they couldn't get, you could take them without having to pay for them kind of thing. Yeah. Nick says, my greatest memories when I was a kid, we used to set up the goalposts with jackets and played all day at Sefton Park. And that was it, isn't it? It's like less... they're in again. It's the same thing, isn't it? You've got to give people... Oh, Joe Hart, isn't it? You've got to give people the opportunity to go out and kick a football. And it doesn't... I agree with kind of what Neil was saying in terms of coaching. It's like, of course they need some coaching. Otherwise, you get what you get. I see that with Zach's team, but a lot of them haven't had coaching. So now we're trying to coach. And it's like... what you understand, but you've also got to have that thing where you can just let them go and have a game of footy and hone the skills and turn and kind of run with it, kind of keep the ball up this way, kind of do that trick, this trick, because that's part of the enjoyment. Otherwise it becomes a job to them as a kid. Also, you're in a team and it's like, Ped, you can't go up there, stop trying to do that drag back, just play there, kick it when you get it. It becomes a job and it's not.
Also, 99% of kids will never be
not going to make it anyway. No.
Give them somewhere to just go and play footy.
They're just having a game.
That's what I'm saying. Just go give. Just having a game. Sitting here thinking I'm going to become a professional footballer or whatever. Kids just want to go and play footy. Like you've got to have somewhere for them to play. If you want them to play football, you have to give them somewhere to go.
It's a health thing.
And there is nowhere in this city now where there is anywhere to play football apart from organised, especially in the winter. When the clocks go back next month, that's it. Where did he go?
They're done still. They can either only play on the weekend, or they can't play again until April.
And one thing you will say is it's about hours. There is studies that say to be a professional footballer, you've had to play for like thousands and thousands of hours, don't they?
It's 10,000 hours to become an expert at something.
And this is why they say in like places like Spain, there's more likely to get better players because the weather's nicer,
lighter,
and it's lighter.
Warm. Well, look at thingy. The biggest thing. Who do I love apart from if an international country, Brazil? And what's the like stereotypical thing when you think of Brazilians? Footballers.
Futsal, isn't it?
Footballers. Yeah. So it's like futsal. It's like playing in the favelas in those little concrete things. It's crap. Like some of the facilities are terrible, but they're a goal at either end. You can go and play. And on the beaches at Rio, down the beach with the football, with tennis balls, with this. It's why they're all very comfortable in possession. we're not so give people the opportunity. I'm not sure how this turned into a full grassroots thing. There's the offside. Look.
Yes!
Yeah, he's off.
King of the offside.
He's off. Just very quickly, the last 8 minutes. So
that's the first time I've seen that live.
That's really good. And
so it didn't only just go out.
He was offside. So they changed it immediately.
Tremendous.
And it was done within seconds. So the new offside, we've just seen it live in this Shakhtar. This Mudrich again. Everton, buy him in January, please, to play on our left. He's quick. And he's got 2 good feet. And he looks like Haaland.
Sure about his hair, though.
He looks like Haaland.
What's he doing in back heels there?
All right, he got away with it. The offside it's basically the lines just come up very quickly. The virtual reality, bang, offside. No argument, no messing around, no 17 minutes to check it. Are we in favour? Me and Ped are in favour of. That's the virtual reality.
You're offside when you're offside.
When you're offside, that's it. Doesn't matter if it's a millimetre. If you're ahead of that, it's offside. Are we in favour or aren't we in favour? Discuss and hit the like button. James says he was offside and it was out of bounds. No, it was. It was, but how quick was that?
And we didn't even see he was offside.
No, we didn't. Yeah, we should.
That was the mad thing. We didn't even know he was offside.
Neil, I accept that. I accept you not talking about elite clubs, talking about grassroots. Yeah, there's got to be the both, though, hasn't it? To me, there's got to be the balance.
Because you can only be
only
be coached 2 or 3 hours a week.
Yeah.
We're talking about kids playing footy religiously. Religiously.
Yeah, David says, my school brought through 1 or 2, like Rooney, Franny Jeffers, John McGrail back in my day. Used to enjoy playing footy in the street, lampposts to a hedge and a goal, opposite side.
Catholic schools used to bring through players all the time. It's just not happening anymore.
Danny says, my mate's kid got invited to City for a weekend trial. My mate said it was pointless because he's not aggressive enough. I told him he's only 7. These academies have parents, the palm of their hands. Paul says, when I was a kid, we were all involved in 5-a-side leagues and sports centres. Nowhere near the same amount.
You don't have sports centres anymore. Sports centres are getting shut down.
It is crazy, isn't it? When you think of it, it's not difficult to understand why when you look at it, but it's sad, isn't it? It's sad because it was an opportunity to produce players, and it was giving
kids
play
like
fitness and
leisure leagues and all that kind of thing. We were doing that for till I was well into my 20s, playing little 5-a-side comps and all that. Just not there anymore. No. Facilities are just not there anymore to do it, unless you want to pay £100 to pay on and bring Gary Goals up front.
I got drafted in once into one of my mates was playing in the unemployed league on a Tuesday morning, and it was when I was at Burnley and our training was cancelled, and he said, just come down and just pretend you're like on the dole and that. Imagine getting drafted into the unemployed league just because they were having a game against the team we wanted to beat on the Astro in Wavertree. Like, that's that. I did feel shame, but I was thinking that. But I just want to have a game of footy, and I mean, if they got injured, I don't know what I kind of would.
When I was on the railway, we had a 5-a-side tournament. We played on the pitch, and it was like every week and all the different things of it. Yeah, I got golden boot at the end of it. I scored 60 goals. I got to give him the golden boot at the end in the year. Funny, we never won. We never won
60 goals.
We never won the league though. We won the cup, but we never won the league. Madly. But
you should have got it as well. If you're not getting it for that, mate, then there's issues, isn't there? Let's be honest. Joel says not into the new offsides. Didn't like the fact VAR looked at them anyway because it's ridiculously close. How many goals are going to be disallowed because of a toenail, which gives no advantage? Yeah, but if you know that he's offside, isn't he? So it becomes finite, I think.
Yeah. The rule isn't like... No one ever said the rule was offside because of a toenail. The simple fact is people used to get leeway because the human eye can't work that fast.
Yeah.
That's just a simple fact. We can't see that kind of... You know, when you think about it, we spoke about this on the week, last week, when you think about it, offsides are really, really difficult to call because the linesman has to be looking in 2 places at once. And that's ridiculously tough. Yeah. I think the Champions League this new one's phenomenal. Honestly, it's phenomenal.
It's sorted. It's sorted, and you'll get used to it. I know what you're saying. All right, 1 minute. I know what you're saying. You look and go, oh my God, that goal's disallowed because of that. But it's disallowed, isn't it? It's the same as, what a volley that would have been at the underside of the bar come down was a millimetre on the line. it should have stood because it would have been a worldie, but it doesn't because it didn't go in. This is the same. I think the problem is for too long we had guesswork.
Yeah.
And we were all like, oh yeah, it's all right because you got away with it. But they've already changed it.
Yeah.
If you're sticking with guesswork, then stick with it. But they've changed it. Yeah. So now I think it needs to be
the minute we went to VAR, then it has to be the best VAR possible.
Has to be, otherwise you can't.
Not
you
one that leaves grey area.
Yeah, you can't do it. Right, final call of the night. It's Richie.
Richie, innit?
Hey, Ron.
Hello, Rich.
Hey, lads.
Hello mate. You okay?
Okay. How are you?
No, not too bad.
All good, mate.
Wow, we're on live with them.
We're on live.
Go on.
That's right. Well, how is everything across the pond?
It's good. It's good.
It's all good.
It's gone cold though. It's gone cold
cool.
this week.
Yeah.
Ooh,
that's it.
75?
No, more than that.
Wow, this is great. This is awesome.
There you go.
Okay. All right, it's good to chat. But have you got a point?
No, the point is, just good to hear you guys, actually.
Okay.
Fair enough. Where are you? Are you anywhere near the Top Gun house?
Very near.
We're 3 blocks from the Top Gun house.
3 blocks away from the Top Gun house.
I mean,
we'll take a picture of Richard on the motorcycle.
What about...
Do it, because I never actually got to see the Top Gun.
What about, are you anywhere near the Top Gun pub from the new film?
Oh, no. Well, that's an hour. Well, that's down in Coronado, right?
Is it?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's in Coronado. Yeah, the new one, no, we're not.
Okay.
We're an hour away.
Okay.
I guess
that was a good pub.
That was a good pub. Well, the owner was good.
Yeah, the owner was very good, but it looked like a nice pub, yeah.
No, that's great, man. Wow. So they got the My Paddle bands?
I think so, yeah.
There they are. There they are.
Andy. Literally on the table.
They're literally there.
Literally
Andy, there. Look.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, there's the stickers.
The stickers are there. In case you don't know.
I didn't quite understand what they were when they turned up, but
now we know.
I just like it that I can now go like this.
Well, I think Baz does, because
I understand it.
Baz knows, because I explained to him what it was.
Was Baz drinking though at the time?
No, Ped was.
Ped
wasn't. Ped had a bit of a mardy couple of days because he wasn't feeling too good.
There you go. I was in bed sick.
I understand what they are.
No, I understand what they are now. I just didn't understand what
pickleball
they were when they turned up.
Pickleball paddle or a tennis racket or a racquetball
there you
racket.
Go.
Heck, if you have a cricket bat, you can probably.
No, we don't have cricket bats.
No, we do cricket. I tried to explain that one, Paddy. We don't do cricket.
No.
The West Ham fans might bring a couple with them on Sunday, but
we don't. No,
they won't be hitting. They won't be using them for recreation sport.
No, not at all. No.
So listen, what we have to do is we have to get you in touch with somebody. Somebody there must play pickleball. Well, we know there's a tournament in Bolton next month.
Okay.
There's a national pickleball tournament in Bolton next month.
Okay.
So obviously it's going to be mostly indoors, because obviously here, California, it's outdoors.
Yeah.
We don't do indoor stuff. But pickleball is definitely growing, not just all over. And we've actually got a contact, haven't we, Sam, in England?
Yeah, no, we do. Absolutely.
This just feels like a really, really, really poor excuse to come on and advertise pickleball and your company.
I'll be honest, I saw something the other day about it, and I thought of Richie, because I'd never seen anything. Yeah. Didn't know what it was. Richie explained to me what it was when we were in Minnesota, and started seeing things pop up of like, it's the fastest growing. It's a sport, fastest growing sport, whatever.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So there you go. Pickleball.
It's a fun, easy game. You don't have to run, constantly.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Low impact, it's sociable, so you guys would love it. And you can get some good shots, and it's a quick game. It doesn't last.
There you go. So
it's like 15, 20 minutes, and boom, you're done.
There you go.
Talk about how you're the greatest pickleball player in the world.
I don't think it'd take that long for me to become the greatest pickleball player in the world, considering only 7 people play it.
Not in your own head. There's a lot of people play it.
Not here, they don't.
It's funny you say that, Peg, because my best man who lives in Pittsburgh over here, he said that to me.
Yeah.
He said, I'll give me 15 minutes and I'll thrash you.
Yeah,
he doesn't really playing for 6 years.
I'm definitely the best player in Liverpool. Definitely. I am definitely the best. I already know that.
You beat me.
I already know that.
I don't think.
I think well, you know,
Richard would like to talk about it, but he got a gold medal at a tournament about a month and a half ago, which qualifies him for the national championship in December or November.
November the 5th.
Yeah.
Oh, Everton
are
playing that day.
Sorry,
Sorry,
our attention will be on Everton.
Playing Leicester at home.
Leicester
Sorry,
at 5 kickoff, November.
You can't
5th.
go.
Otherwise, we'd have been there watching you, Rich.
There you go. If anyone wants to play pickleball, then get in touch with the guys at MyPaddle. There you go. See, I've fallen into the trap of advertising it.
You're advertising it. Free advertising.
And
It worked.
Yeah, you might get one of these lovely little
You can.
things.
Well, you can get if you play.
I mean, you could use that for me. I mean, Ned could use that, couldn't he? It's about the right size.
Yeah, but that would go on a squash racket, I imagine.
Yeah.
Would it stretch for a tennis racket? Let's have a look.
That's mine. Don't stretch it.
No,
stretch your own.
Yeah, tennis racket as well.
Okay.
Personalises your racket. So there you go. If you play badminton, you've broke the mic. If you play racket sports, you can get personalised ones for it. No, not going on your head. I mean, I don't know whether you could have got a better advert for this.
No.
I mean, Maverick's getting
And Maverick has just come on the TV and I'm there for
advertised on the
Maverick.
telly right now.
You know what I mean?
And we just seen the pub. The pub
Great
was
balls
theirs.
of fire.
Great balls.
That's all
of
I'm
fire.
saying.
Exactly. Yeah. So free
What a
advert.
shoddy con this call was.
I
A
thought-
shoddy,
You know what?
shoddy
They haven't
con.
even mentioned anything to do with Everton or grassroots football
Or San Diego.
or San Diego. They've literally come
Or
on and
San
just
Diego.
gone. Oh, have you got that stuff we
listen.
sent you?
Listen, I was going to suggest that maybe once a month we'll do a letter from San Diego.
Okay.
here.
All right, do me a favour, right? If you're going to do that,
Gotta be at the
next
house.
time you send a shite, make sure there's sweets in it. That's all I'm going to say. You know what I mean? Just make sure there's like something in there that makes me go, I like this package. You know, when I opened the package, I was like, what's this? What am I going to do with this?
We'll do it, Pep. We'll do it because all I have to do is I'll get a wish list from Ned because I know some of the stuff from when you were here the other month. So I know the kind of things that you went for then.
Richie, someone sent us a box the other week, right? And I don't know how much it would have cost to send us it.
I don't know
and
why.
when it opened it was full of beef jerky. What a waste! What a waste of a box from America, beef jerky.
I don't even know
Beef
how
jerky.
Ned managed to con someone and sending stuff because he's probably said to this person, "We all love beef jerkies." When really it was
there
just
was a
about
note in it saying basically this is for you, Ned.
Oh dear.
So how's Ned? How has Ned been getting packages?
I don't know. When we were in America, he must have talked to people without our permission.
Yeah. Which is terrifying in itself.
A box of beef jerkies and 3 t-shirts, and they were all for Ned.
I don't think the 3 t-shirts. 3 is a weird number.
I know, but they were all very small. They weren't fitting me.
Okay. Fair enough.
There you go.
Fair play.
So, no. We can do that then. We can certainly do that.
If you're doing your letter from San Diego, which we'll be quite happy to receive, at least get a couple of Top Gun shots in it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
What we'll do then? What we'll do is we will. You can hold us to this. We'll do a bit of a 10-minute thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
From outside the Top Gun house.
Okay.
Sounds good to me.
Also, go to the place that would have been where the T-Rex would have been in Jurassic Park 2.
Miles away.
It's not. It's in San Diego.
Okay.
It's in San Diego. It's where the boat crashed, and they were going to have the T-Rex enclosure in San Diego. Don't tell me about my Jurassic Park knowledge,
I'm not telling you. It's where they are.
Don't even start me.
How close is it to where Rich is?
I don't know where
Well,
Richie
exactly.
is.
So San Diego's not like Walton, is it?
Well, it's not that far. I mean, you go 5 minutes down the road, you're in Mexico.
20 miles.
No, honestly, ask these. If you you get Mexican radio stations and the phone signal and everything.
Yeah, but what if you go 5 minutes the other way? It might not be.
Well, you're not in Mexico.
Exactly. So that's where the house might be and the T-Rex.
Don't talk to me. I've been to San Diego.
No, I'm just saying you can't drop
It's
it
got
on
a
them
good
that
zoo
quick.
as well. It's got a good zoo.
It has. San Diego Zoo. SeaWorld in San Diego, isn't it?
What?
Isn't SeaWorld in San Diego?
Yeah.
You come to the West Coast. So next time Everton come over, you're definitely going to have to come over here, no matter what.
You say that.
Depends where they are. If they're in Florida, it's a bit of a flight. It's a bit of a flight to the West Coast. You sit down. After what you've asked for, you sit back down, Nedwin.
Hey, beef jerky, boy, sit down.
Beef jerkies, bloody hell.
Right, there you go. They've rung up. They've put the plug.
They've got the plug. They've got free advertising. Pickleball, MyPaddle. Check it out.
but we support you.
No,
Yeah,
I know,
no,
mate.
I know,
We're
I know.
quite happy to advertise for you. If you send sweets.
You won't believe the number of pickleball players that have seen your gear on me.
Well, there you go.
There
All
you
the
go,
time.
then.
Yeah. It's the fastest growing sport in San Diego.
Yeah, you are. Toffee.
There you go, Toffee TV.
It all works.
In association with pickleball.
Pickleball.
There you go.
My paddle. It is.
My paddle's pickleball.
All right, we can do a co-branded sponsorship mashup.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Get some beef jerky as well in there.
No beef jerky. No beef jerky. It's disgusting.
If Everton,
ruined
what
that
needs to
flight
happen
for me.
is Everton needs to go to San Diego
Yeah.
when Comic-Con's on, and then I'm there.
Yeah, but when's
I am there.
When's Connor?
You'll be there.
Or July.
Hey, Paddy,
okay, it's too late, then it could happen.
December.
I'm going to New York in December. Yeah,
Right, yeah, okay.
I'm going. Yeah, 100%. It's all done.
There's a pickleball tournament.
Is there a
in New
pickleball?
York?
Oh, I'm in there. I'll be there. You'll see me in the corner holding a Slim Jim.
You'll be there like that. You could win the gold medal of pickleball
could.
in New York.
I could be. I could
Who
be
knows?
over. I'll be in the over 40s category from Liverpool.
Yeah. Over 40s, illegal alien
There you go. There
category.
you go.
You could win
crazy.
it. You could win it.
Oh,
Right, men.
Rich, great
Lovely
to
to
hear
speak
ya.
to you, top man, Richie. Good to talk to you, mate.
All right.
Look after yourself.
Good talking with you.
see you later,
Keep that
guys.
pickleball going. See you later. Bye.
I'm Pickle Rick.
Bye.
There you go.
There you go.
Shameless plugging.
What a way to finish the show.
What a shameless plug.
What a way to finish the show.
Richie was with us when we were in
Yeah,
America.
Richie's top man.
He
He's
was
a
with
top
us
man.
when we were in America.
Premier member. Top man. Joel says, what would happen with Cody's goal in the derby? New offside, but they take the ball, hitting Milner into account if so. I'm all for it. Well, no, because it'll be when it left its foot, which is exactly what offside should be. The problem you've got with it hitting Milner's foot is a rule, which shouldn't really make any. Even though, listen, the way the rule is, Everton's goal should have stood.
No.
But it wouldn't stand
in the real world.
But I'd be happy with that.
In the real world, that to me, that what Conor Cody's goal was offside to me. You know, it's off. Okay, the rule might say different, and the interpretation might be different, but in the real world, that should be offside.
No, but that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it'd be offside, and I'm okay with that. Yeah. But the way the rules are, it should have been onside. Yeah. So make it. The minute it leaves the foot, if you're ahead, he's offside.
Take the grey area out of it.
And we all know.
Take the grey area out of it, and then it's offside. And it's the same with goal line technology, then, isn't it? If it's not all the way over the line, then it's not in.
Yeah.
And it should be the same with offside.
Yeah.
If you're offside, you're offside.
Yeah.
And that's the end.
Time
of it.
you run better. It's the way it is. At least we all know.
Get smaller feet.
That's another thing.
You know what I mean?
This
might be an advantage for smaller footed players. Do you know what I mean?
5-goal Fergie would be thriving on it now.
Gary Goals only a size 6. I'm telling you.
Exactly. Wanderlust HFX Wanderers fan channel says the Everton Pickleball Club. There you go. Another shameless plug for Richie. Right, we are done. Make sure you hit the like on the way out. Subscribe if you haven't.
It's been an interesting
And it has been a very interesting one, so take it
great
easy.
calls and some pickleball calls.
Pickleball as well.
I don't even know what pickleball is.
See you later. We're going. Bye.